Happy Sabbath, everyone.
Happy Sabbath.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Please stay with us as we look at Judah's crisis of leadership and the sad results that followed. This week's lesson is entitled Crisis of Leadership.
The memory text is taken from Isaiah 6, verse 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple.
Sabbath afternoon. When asked by one of his disciples about the ingredients of good government, Confucius answered, sufficient food, sufficient weapons, and the confidence of the common people. For from of old, hunger has been the lot of all men, but a people that no longer trusts its rulers is lost indeed. People do, indeed, want strong, trustworthy leadership.
Sunday. The king is dead. Long live the king. Different perspectives can be given regarding the death of this king. Although Uzziah's reign was long and prosperous, when he had become strong, he grew proud to his destruction. There is a striking contrast between Uzziah and Isaiah. The death of Uzziah is about 740 BC, marks a major crisis in the leadership of God's people. The death of any absolute ruler makes his or her country vulnerable during a transition of power.
Monday. Holy, holy, holy. Isaiah 6, 1-4. Ezekiel, Daniel, and John were in exile when they received their visions. Like Isaiah, they needed special comfort and encouragement that God was still in charge, even though their world was falling apart. The transcendent holiness of God is a basic aspect of his message. God is a holy God, and he demands holiness from his people. A holiness he will give to them if only they will turn from their evil ways and submit to him in faith and obedience.
Tuesday. New personality. Isaiah 6, 5-7. The sin is not specified, but it need not be limited to wrong speech, because lips signify not only speech, but also the entire person who utters it. Having received moral purification, Isaiah was now able to offer pure praise to God. Fire is an agent of purification because it burns away impurity. The seraph made Isaiah holy as well as pure.
Wednesday, Royal Commission. Isaiah 6, verse 8. Having been purified, Isaiah immediately responded to God's call for a representative whom he could send out on his behalf. The Bible does show that a divine encounter can encourage a prophet even after the ministry has begun. Not only does God's sanctuary throb with awesome power, but also it's a place where weak and faulty people, such as ourselves, can find refuge.
Thursday. Appalling appeal. Isaiah 6, verses 9-13. In Exodus 4, verse 21, God says, "But I will harden his heart." This is the first of 9 times when God said he would harden Pharaoh's heart. But the fact that God also hardened Pharaoh's heart indicates that God initiated the circumstances to which Pharaoh reacted when he made his choices to reject the signs God had given him. Had Pharaoh been open to those signs, his heart would have been softened, not hardened by them.
Friday. It seemed as if God's purposes for Israel were about to fail, and that the rebellious nation was to suffer a fate similar to that of Sodom and Gomorrah. At a time of insecurity, when the weakness of human leadership was painfully obvious, Isaiah was given a grand vision of the supreme leader of the universe. Petrified by inadequacy, but purified and empowered by mercy, Isaiah was ready to go forth as God's ambassador into a hostile world.
Have a happy Sabbath.